You're watching the show that puts Spartan news in focus. This is Focal Point.
I'm Jill Silverstein, and coming up on Focal Point, I'll tell you why a Michigan State student is taking this company to court.
Tonight on Focal Point, let's see if anything's different for celebrating St. Patrick's Day this year and how police officers are taking care of the security of the city.
And a controversial video makes waves on campus. We'll take a look at KONY 2012.
Focal Point starts now.
I'm Emmanuel Berry.
And I'm Katie Dalebout. Welcome to Focal Point. We start our show out tonight with sad news. An MSU freshman died over the weekend.
Olivia Pryor was found dead in her Hubbard Hall dorm room Saturday night. Police are investigating and believe alcohol may have been a factor. She was majoring in journalism. A favorite campus sandwich shop is in some hot water for a strain of E. coli found in their alfalfa sprouts. 25 cases have been reported at Jimmy John's across the county, and one MSU student is taking action against them. Focal Point's Jill Silverstein takes us inside the scandal.
A mile from her home, MSU junior Alexandra Shaliko ordered from the Hagedorn Jimmy John's last month, unaware of the consequences.
I was in the hospital for 3 days.
After eating alfalfa sprouts on the turkey sandwich she ordered, Shaliko contracted a strain of E. coli that made her extremely ill.
My abdominal cramps were unbearable.
Although Shaliko wouldn't allow us to put her face on camera, because she is suing Jimmy John's.
We're hoping to receive anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 in restitution.
Food safety lawyer Drew Falkenstein, who is representing her, agreed to Skype in.
Any manufacturer of a food item that is contaminated with really any bacteria that makes you sick or in some cases causes deaths is liable to the people who are sickened.
Shaliko isn't the first case.
This particular outbreak, there are 25 cases of illness nationally.
Former Jimmy John's manager Ashley Estrada says finding fresh sprouts isn't easy.
We went through 3 different companies.
Falkenstein explains why.
Bacteria like E. coli and Salmonella thrive and in fact can multiply in a growth medium that's warm and moist, and that's how sprouts are grown.
So how come sprouts have remained on the menu for so long?
Jimmy wanted to keep his gourmet sandwiches to the recipe.
The sprouts that used to come out in this Beach Club sandwich have now been replaced with snow pea shoes at many Jimmy John's locations. Shaliko says it isn't about the money.
I would just like to see Jimmy John's take responsibility for the customers that, love and respect their company.
Shaliko hopes this freaky situation will all go away soon. For Focal Point, I'm Jill Silverstein.
The company plans to bring chemically engineered sprouts to stores. For now, some locations have replaced the old sprouts with snow pea shoots.
The Greater Lansing area is working to create a Chinatown to better organize markets and restaurants. There are more than 144 Chinese restaurants and markets in the Lansing area, and the number is growing. Planners are meeting to discuss the construction timeline, and an opening date has not yet been set.
Time magazine has declared KONY 2012 the most viewed video of all time. The video, created by Jason Russell, has been viewed by almost 85 million people all over the world. It sheds light on Joseph Kony, the leader of the LRA in Uganda. He is said to be the man responsible for stealing children from their homes to form a rebel army. Russell created the video to get Kony arrested and brought to justice. However, the video has created some controversy. Many people think this is a scam and wonder where the donated money is going. Students have come together around campus to discuss their opinions.
Tugged at my heartstrings, made me spur up this feeling of injustice, and I didn't really know what to make of it. And because of those feelings, I was actually more skeptical of the video, because I knew that people were like, oh, it's a fake, it's just, it's not a real thing, it's actually a scam, just trying to make money.
Jason Russell was recently hospitalized after a public breakdown in San Diego last weekend.
In international news, military officials have identified Robert Bales as the Army Staff Sergeant accused of killing 16 Afghan civilians. Bales is accused of going on a shooting spree throughout an Afghan village after drinking on a southern Afghanistan base. Bale's lawyer, John Henry Brown, says his client claims to remember very little of the night of March 11th. Bales is currently being held in an isolated cell at 4th Leavenworth, and charges in the case have not yet been determined.
New York-based advertising agency BBH Labs has halted their plans to expand the Homeless Hotspot initiative. The program paid homeless people to carry Wi-Fi signals at South by Southwest Interactive Conference in Austin, Texas. The event-goers were encouraged to donate $2 for every 15 minutes of wireless use. The agency had planned to set up a similar charitable experiment in New York. However, debates over the ethics of the project have led BBH Labs to slow down and carefully consider their next move.
Lines at local bars wrapped around this St. Patrick's Day while police walked the streets to make sure everyone stayed safe. Focal Point's Yenxia Wang takes a look at how crowds behaved on one of the busiest drinking days of the year.
The craziness starts in the morning. And the holiday gives people an excuse to drink.
Drinking green beer, wearing green, just being as all sort of Irish as possible.
On one side, East Lansing residents are celebrating with the green beer as a tradition. But on the other side, police officers are working hard to take care of every aspect of safety issues.
To make sure people are safe and make sure that we're taking enforcement action on underage drinking.
But with the holiday being on a Saturday and the unseasonably warm weather, things can get out of control, like this accident in Abbott Road.
The pedestrian was intoxicated or had been drinking and ran out in front of the van and then got hit.
While trivial accidents happen, most residents appreciate the police efforts.
I've seen them driving around, making sure that everybody knows they're there and just keeping us safe.
The glee of the festival culminated late in the night, and the police are hoping people could have fun and enjoy responsibly. For Focal Point, I'm Yenxia Wang.
The East Lansing Police Department is reporting that 8 people were arrested for disorderly conduct and 14 for underage drinking. Coming up, MSU takes going green to the next level.
And one student uses her cultural experience to help others.
They've been called leaders, lifesavers, and world changers. They're also called Spartans.
Welcome back. Students take their passion for reading to the next level.
And one MSU student uses her personal experience to impact others. Victoria Marzek has these stories and more on this week's campus. Victoria?
Thanks, Emmanuel. Up first, some sad news on campus this week, as longtime MSU professor Paul Hunter died early Wednesday morning. Family members confirmed Thursday that Hunter died after suffering a heart attack that resulted in a car crash. Hunter was a chemistry professor and began working at the university in 1975. MSU Complex Director Corey Malik was recently found dead in his Snyder Phillips apartment. Officials say MSU police found Malik while doing a welfare check at his room over spring break. There were no signs of foul play. Malik has been a complex director for 5 years. Recyclemania, the recycling campaign to promote sustainability, comes to an end on March 31st. More than 600 colleges and universities across the nation compete to see who can recycle the most and waste the least. Michigan State University is currently ranked 58th in the overall Grand Champion competition and 3rd in the Gorilla competition. Recyclable materials include most types of paper, boxboard, cardboard, and all types of plastics. This is MSU's second year participating in Recyclemania.
Recyclemania is a good opportunity to create this competitive environment. It's friendly, it's competitive to help teach people about the volume of materials we're throwing away and what we're recycling.
If you would like to help MSU go green, you can drop off your recyclables at any of the on-campus residence halls or MSU's Public Recycling Drop-Off Center, located across from the MSU Surplus Store. While many students spent their Saturday enjoying sunshine and warm temperatures, some stayed inside the entire day as part of a 24-hour reading marathon. James Madison College hosted the 9th annual event. Starting at 8:30 in the morning, the MSU community gathered to read an entire book out loud. In past years, readers tackled Moby Dick and Pride and Prejudice. This year, students marked off chapters and made their way through Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. Organizers say reading the book as a group beats reading it alone.
And that's great. I love reading by myself, sitting in bed or whatever. But this one brings you together with other people that go through the journey with you and experience the highs and lows of the character.
Next year is the event's 10th anniversary. Manella says she hopes to see people from a broad range of majors participate next year. One MSU student is using her unique experience to help others. Kayla Roney brings us the story about her role on campus.
MSU junior Mimi Martinez is often asked whether white is her favorite color. That's because it's the only color she's worn for the past 8 months.
And we pretty much have to wear white for like an entire year, like that's part of our initiation process.
This intense process also includes purification ceremonies and other sacrifices, and will make her an official member of the traditional African religion of the Yoruba people.
A lot of people in my family has done it, and for me, I hit rock bottom before I did it, and I knew this was like the right thing for me to do.
Her family has remained her support system.
Like my dad, he's a babalao, which is like the priest of the religion, like that's like the highest you can get.
Martinez is also an intercultural aide through MSU's Office of Cultural and Academic Transitions, which means she lives right here in a residence hall, working with students to embrace new cultures as they transition from high school to college.
I feel like there's a lack of cultural awareness around campus, and me as an intercultural aide and other intercultural aides, like whenever they ask me about my process, that I can kind of explain to them, that gives me the opportunity.
When she finishes and becomes a full Yoruba religious member in July, Martinez will be able to return to her normal lifestyle.
But this whole year should have changed you a little bit. So you are supposed to learn from all the sacrifices she did over the entire year.
And she looks forward to applying those life lessons to her job next year, as she's been promoted to the position of OCAT team leader. For Focal Point, this is Kayla Roney.
OCAT's next event will be Addressing the Disparities, the Affordable Care Act, Women, and Communities of Color on Wednesday, March 28th in the Union. That's all for On Campus. I'm Victoria Marzak. Back to you.
Thanks, Victoria. Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity held its annual Sleep Out for the Homeless event last weekend to collect donations for the Lansing City Rescue Mission. The brothers and other supporters stayed outside the MSU Union from 7 Saturday night until 7 Sunday morning, collecting gently used clothing and monetary donations for the mission, which reaches out to homeless and low-income people in the Lansing area to provide food, shelter, and clothing.
We've done this with the Lansing Rescue Mission. It's an honor and a privilege to work with them, and we just want to do all that we can to support them because we want to give support to other organizations that want to help the community as well. The fraternity raised nearly $500 in cash along with boxes full of clothing for the mission. A new healthcare bill may lift the burden off of parents.
And we take a look at a Lansing program helping those who need someone to listen. Yanxia Wang has these stories and more in this week's Help. Yanxia?
Thanks, Katie. The Michigan Senate recently approved a group of bills that would require insurance companies to cover up to $50,000 a year through age 18 for 13 types of autism therapy. Despite opposition from insurance and business groups, the 3-bill package was approved on a 29-9 and 28-10 vote. The package will next move to the Senate House of Representatives. With the daily pressures of juggling classes, jobs, and other stressors, MSU students often need some counseling. One program in the Lansing area provides a listening ear for short-term help.
Seeking counseling is not new for people who are having personal problems.
It's affected me and my academics a lot, so I am trying to help me get better.
If a student is struggling with something, then they don't feel they have anybody they can talk to, and so if they need some help, and then we can provide help to them.
But if you just need someone to listen and understand your problem instantly, a group of volunteers are ready to become your anonymous ear.
So listening ear is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, anonymous, confidential crisis line. So we've got people who call in any sort of crisis and they feel embarrassed or ashamed or whatever. They can call us and just talk to someone anonymously.
Compared to professions in the counseling center, giving advice is not part of their focus.
Really what we try to do is empower them to make their own decisions.
To build trust with strangers who need help, volunteers are taking empathy model as their primary method.
Empathizing is where you reflect back to them the emotions that you're feeling.
Being able to have someone hear you who's not going to judge you and just understands where you're coming from.
And it is not a one-side effect for those with problems.
Being here, I learned so much about myself and how I approach the world.
It lingers with me for a while after hearing, a lot of these things. I'm triggered sometimes.
And those influences are encouraging them to support others who need help in the future. The Listening Ear is the only one volunteer-organized crisis center in the United States. If you want someone to hear your concern, you can call the Listening Ear at 517-337-1717. That's all for health. I'm Yanjie Wang. Back to you.
Thanks, Yanjie. Coming up on Focal Point, we'll take a look at your Spartan sport.
And in entertainment, we show you the music and colors of Satrong.
They've been called leaders, lifesavers, and world changers. They're also called Spartans.
Welcome back. I'm Kayla Roney with this week's Sports Report. Basketball captain Draymond Green has been named to the National Association of Basketball Coaches All-American team. The senior forward is joined by Kentucky's Anthony Davis, Creighton's Doug McDermott, Kansas's Thomas Robinson, and Ohio State's Jared Sullinger. Green is just the 12th Spartan to be named to the team. March Madness came to a close for the Spartans. The men's basketball team lost to 4th-seeded Louisville Thursday night, 57-44. Shooting 27% from the field, the Spartans posted the lowest point total for a 1 seed in NCAA tournament history. It was the last game for seniors Draymond Green, Anthony Ianni, Austin Thornton, and Brandon Wood. The Spartans women's basketball team has also been knocked out of the NCAA tournament. The women lost 67-55 to 7-seeded Louisville last Saturday. For seniors Taylor Alton, LaKendra Johnson, and Portia Poole, this was the last game in the green and white. This was the 4th straight trip to the tournament for the women's team. Head coach Tom Anastas and defenseman Torrey Krug are both up for CCHA honors this year. Anastas was one of 3 finalists for the Coach of the Year award. In his first year at the helm for the Spartans, Anastas led his team to a 19-15-4 overall record and an improvement of 5 spots in the CCHA standings. Junior Torrey Krug is a finalist for the CCHA Player of the Year award, as well as Best Offensive Defenseman. Krug won the defensive honors in the 2011 season as well. The Spartans took to the ice for the NCAA tournament, playing #1 seed Union. 3 former Spartans are on the ballot for the 2012 College Football Hall of Fame. Kirk Gibson, Percy Snow, Lorenzo White, and Coach Darryl Rogers are all on the ballot this year. The ballot contains the names of 76 players and 8 coaches. I'm Kayla Roney. Back to you, Katie.
Thanks, Kayla. A studio that is helping kids with local art.
And a Korean martial art is helping to bridge cultures. Lucy Go tells us more in this week's entertainment segment.
A local art studio is giving a Lansing neighborhood a boost, but it's becoming so popular, they are outgrowing their space. Focal Point's Amber Johnson Week shows us how one woman is drawing a better future for Lansing kids and how expansion plans are in the works.
Nestled in Lansing's historic Reeltown district is Reach Studio Art Center.
There's sticky foam.
This studio is the result of textile artist Alice Brinkman's dream.
You know, they didn't have that much access to after-school art activities. So I really wanted to start something where I could share a studio with the community.
With art on and around the studio, it is obvious that these artists have no limits.
Capital Region Community Foundation grant, impact grant, which will help us towards our facility expansion.
Yellow, orange, or green? This grant will allow her to move from her current 1,100 square foot location to a building 7 times that size. Since 2004, 900 students a year have visited REACH, but Alice says it's not just about the artwork.
A big part of what REACH is about is using art as the tool to give kids those opportunities to develop, to bond with a mentor.
Alice is like a best friend to me.
Alice not only provides art supplies for her students, she and her volunteers mean a lot to kids like Amani Davis.
There's not a lot of things around here for kids exactly to do.
Through grants, donations, and fee-based programs, Alice ensures that all students get an opportunity to take classes.
Today is really fun. Yeah, you can see we make a butterfly and my son really like it.
As they gear up to relocate, Alice continues to help the Lansing community, one little artist at a time. For Focal Point, I'm Amber Johnson-Weeks.
The studio is located on 1804 South Washington Street, and it's always open to new artists. Summer registration starts later this month. Bridging cultures, self-defense, and instilling disciplines are typical tenets of martial art. One local Korean family preaches and teaches these traditions in their Okmos Taekwondo studio.
Good. Ready, switch. I opened the Shin's Taekwondo Academy in 1994.
Born in Korea, Master Steve Shane has devoted himself to Taekwondo for more than 30 years.
Taekwondo was a strong passion and hobby of mine.
After getting his MBA degree at MSU, Shane decided to develop his hobby into a career.
Taekwondo was much higher satisfaction in terms of knowing that I could make a difference in the world.
At an Olympic event, Taekwondo is a traditional Korean martial art. But now, residents in Lansing area has entitled it with different meanings. Dan Matican has been coming to the studio since 2003.
Tenets of Taekwondo, it's all here. You know, you don't stop, you keep going, be the best person you can be.
Parents are willing to send their children here not only to exercise, but to learn. Daniel started to practice Taekwondo for 3 years at the age of 9. For the family, Taekwondo is a sport that gets all boys together.
His little brother, who's 5, is getting there as well.
However, what Shane family need to consider is to blend Korean traditional culture into the American way of life.
In Korea, master instructor stands in front of the class and tell everybody to do something, and they all do it. In America, you have to demonstrate it 4, 5, 10 times in fact.
But Master Shen believes that the gap will be override in the near future. There are now more than 4 Taekwondo studios in Lansing area. The largest entirely student-run production was held on campus this week. Focal Point's Katie Drabok had more from Sechak, the colorful Indian dance and cultural show.
Rashna Patel uses dance to celebrate the diversity of her native country. The MSU senior has been involved with the East Meets West dance show, Satrung, for 4 years, participating in dance styles ranging from traditional folk to Bollywood.
Basically, the show just it showcases all the different areas of India.
Her role this year goes beyond her onstage involvement as events coordinator for the Coalition of Indian Undergraduate Students.
It's really hectic. We have all sorts of events. Today was the dress rehearsal.
Satrung, meaning 7 colors, unites the diversity of India and has been a tradition at MSU since 1989. Starting with only 50 performers, and now has nearly 200. Students begin planning for the show 6 months in advance. And for Rashna, she found a way to channel her Indian heritage through Bollywood-style dance.
Bollywood movies are kind of like a musical. There's always songs in between every scene.
Nearly 2,000 people are attending tonight's show, and for many of the performers, family and friends have traveled to campus to see the performance.
Being on stage is a really good feeling.
The rush she feels while dancing on stage is unmatched, and her final year as a Satrung performer was no exception. For Focal Point, I'm Katie Delbout.
This year's show also featured a South Asian a cappella group and competitive Rasi and Bhangra dance. That's all for entertainment. I'm Lucy Guo. Emmanuel?
Thanks, Lucy. Although spring just technically started, it's already feeling like summer in Michigan. From shooting hoops to relaxing in the grass, students are enjoying the unseasonably warm weather. Even though it's only March, students are breaking out shorts and sunglasses as temperatures reach record-breaking levels close to 90 degrees. Many people are taking advantage of the extra degrees by running and biking to class. But some students say the weather is causing an early onset of senioritis.
It's hard to get work done, and I just want to be outside. And I mean, I've gone to all my classes, but getting work done is so much harder. I have to do it like really late at night when it's dark out, and I don't want to go outside.
But students won't be distracted for long, as forecasts predict that the temperatures will dip into the 60s by Sunday.
Well, that's our show for tonight.
We leave you now with more from the Satrang performance on campus. Good night.
Have a good night.
Chire